Welcome. I'm super excited today because Andrew got me the Public Speaking Essentials t-shirt for our beautiful series here on YouTube. If you are a big fan of public speaking and you believe it's an essential skill for your life and the life of others, you can get your t-shirts as well. I leave a link for you in the description of this video, and you can also find on our website. So today is our third episode of the Public Speaking Essentials, and it's the continuation, part 2 of the conference call. Let's see, of the conference video calls, part 2. So last week I opened the first part of this leading conference calls, especially now that everyone is doing conference calls basically every day. It's essential for us, not only non-native speakers like myself. Most of you know I'm Brazilian and my mother tongue is Portuguese. But it is also important. I also practice these phrases in Portuguese or in any other language that I speak, because sometimes it just doesn't come naturally to us. These expressions, they are so simple, and yet they tend to disappear when you look for them and you search for them while you're leading a conference call. So today we are going to take part 2. Remember, I split into 3 scenarios: the opening, the leading, the middle, and the closing. Pretty much like storytelling, like every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So the same applies for conference calling, video conference calls. You have to start in a certain way with a certain finesse, but you have to be firm. You have to make sure your voice is heard. You have to make sure everyone is there and they know who are there. People must know who is in the call and what to do next. And it's your responsibility as leading this call to take everyone to the next step. So today we're going to do part 2, which is the leading part in the middle, of the story, in the middle of the story of this conference video call. And I'll give you some examples. Again, very basic stuff, but so difficult for the moments when you are leading a call. So in my case, for example, I've been doing conference calls for the last decades every single day. So you get to a point where you get used to it. But it wasn't easy in the beginning. In the beginning, I remember searching for websites and places where, I was even embarrassed to look for this, but I was looking, how do people start? How do people lead a call? What are the etiquettes and how does it work? Because if you don't do this every day, you don't know. Right? So one thing is to call someone and speak with a friend or a family member, or even pitch someone on the phone. It's a completely different call. When you are leading a conference call with an agenda and when you have other people joining in and you have to make sure everyone understands what is the objective of that call, it can get really stressful. It's a very stressful situation, and people tend to forget, things. And when the call is over, you realize, oh, no, I didn't do the basic stuff that I was supposed to do. I didn't accomplish anything with this call. It was a disaster. So if you've been in the situation, or if you are new to the situation, welcome to this video. Here we're going to explore just basic phrases, very simple, that you can apply. And write it down, take notes, make sure you take notes, because there is no shame in this. There is no shame in not knowing. There is no shame in consulting and studying these phrases. That's all part of public speaking. Nobody was born speaking in public perfectly and knowing everything, exactly what you have to say and how to combine expressions to make it appealing to the audience. It's nonsense. So make sure you take notes, grab your notebook, and let's go. Let's take a look at these phrases. I'm sure they're going to help you next time you are in the middle of the call. And if you didn't watch part 1 of these sequences of this series, make sure to watch part 1 as well, the opening the conference call. And now let's go to part 2, leading in the middle of the call. What are the common phrases you can start applying today? I'd just like to remind you of the etiquette for this conference call. We'll first hear a short report on each point, followed by a discussion of. I'd suggest we get started with. There will be 5 minutes for each item. We will have to keep each item to 15 minutes in order to have a productive call. Let's make sure we finish by. Have you all received a copy of the agenda? Has everybody got a copy of the agenda? There are X items on the agenda. First, second, third, and lastly. Shall we take the points in this order? If you don't mind, I'd like to go in this order today. Let's skip item 1 and move on to item number 3. I'd suggest we take item 2 last. Maria has agreed to take the minutes. John, would you mind taking the minutes? Joanne has kindly agreed to give us a report on. Maria will take point 1, John will take point 2, and Joanne will lead point 3. Joanne, would you mind taking the notes today? Okay, the minute taker should note any decisions made and by whom, the action to be taken, and by whom and by when. John, can you tell us how the XYZ project is progressing? Joanne, how is the ABC project coming along? Maria, could you please update us on this topic? John, can you tell us where we stand on that? Joanne, have you completed the report on the new accounting package? Has everyone received a copy of the report on current marketing trends? Could you give us a status report on? Please bring us up to date on. How is this issue developing, or how is this issue being handled? What's the latest news on? Where are we on? So, if there is nothing else we need to discuss, let's move on to today's agenda. Is there any other business? If there are no further developments, I'd like to move on to today's topics. Let's move on to today's business. Let's continue with the agenda. And that's pretty much it for today. We have more. If you are interested in learning more phrases, we have more on our website. You can just go there, sign up, make sure you get your membership for free, and then you're going to have access to the members area where there are loads of resources that you can use to improve your public speaking skills, to incorporate storytelling in your life, business, family, everything. It's important, even with our children, to have these skills sharp. If you love public speaking and you believe it's an essential skill, you can get this t-shirt up on Amazon Spain. You can find also the link on our website. So that's it for today. Next week, next Monday, we will go to part 3 of the closing the conference call. Okay, closing the video conference call. And I hope to see you there. Make sure you watch class 1, class 2, and then you move on to the class 3 because they have certain sequence, which is nice for you to write it down and make sure you get your notes right. If you feel you need just a little bit of help with one of the lessons, just go straight to the class number 1, 2, or 3. Next week, you're going to have number 3 coming up, how to close a conference call. And then from there, we're going to keep bringing you more content and more content and more content on public speaking to help you to master this skill, to feel at ease, to enjoy the art of speaking in public. And speaking to public, not only when you're live in front of an audience that is becoming more and more digital. Okay, so now, before we go, if you'd like to receive notifications for this series, make sure to subscribe, give us a little bit of a love. So, see you on the next video, Actually, see you tomorrow for stories to share. Don't forget to set the bell to get a notification when we bring that video tomorrow. See you then. Ciao.